everyone, welcome to today's Lunch Lesson Live. This is Mompreneurs to Millionaires. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are talking about freebie strategy. So we're going to talk about some ideas, what freebies to create, how to create them, and how to use them for your business. So I'm so glad you're here. Give me a little wave or a thumbs up. Tell me in the comments below if you're watching on the live, just type live below. Or if you're watching on the replay, just say replay below. I'd love to know who comes in the day of and who's watching a little bit later. Awesome. Thanks so much for being here. All right. Thanks so much to everyone who voted. Today, the winner was freebie strategy. Every Tuesday, I put out a poll where you can vote on the topic that is most pertaining to your business. So if you feel like there are questions that keep coming up for your business, definitely feel free to suggest a topic. You can reach out to me privately, or you can suggest in that poll every Tuesday, or you can just vote on the topic that would be most helpful to your business. So thanks again to everyone who voted. All right, so this is for go-getters. If you're watching this video, I know you are a go-getter and you are looking to make moves in your business, right? You are watching this video to hopefully get some type of golden nugget, right? Or some little tip that can help move your business forward. So I always invite everyone to put on an abundant mindset, right? As you're watching this video, because it is so easy to get stuck in our ruts, right? It is so easy to do the same old thing and expect different results, right? The definition of insanity, they say. So definitely put on that abundant mindset. Abundance to me means that all things are possible, right? And that you have the power to change. You have the power to make the world that you want, right? To make the life that you want. So with that, think about this video as your new ideas, right? Any piece of free material that you download or watch, always try to take something away from it, right? You're investing your time here, so I would like to invite you to pick two things that you hear in this video that maybe you hadn't thought of, or that is a new idea that you're gonna try, right? Many of you have probably seen many of my videos. Hopefully there's been some little tidbits that you've picked up along the way. But today, if there are two things that you are going to do to move your business forward, so two action items or two new ideas that you pick up, I would love to hear. Feel free to share below in the comments, or you can always send to me if you feel like it's something you want to talk about privately. I would love to hear. So we're all going to put our abundant mindsets on, right? So that is what we're here for. I'm all about, right, sharing the knowledge that I have so that we can all rise together, right? That is what this group is for. That is what I am so excited about. That's what lights me up. And this is a new podcast, so now if you are interested in watching us over on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts, feel free to check us out over there. I'm going to start a new interview series called the Mompreneur Method. So if you are interested in that, we are going to talk about, I'm going to be interviewing business owners, so if you're interested in being interviewed for my podcast, feel free to say so below, and I'll definitely put you on my list. But I'm going to start that interview series starting this Thursday. So definitely watch for that in the Facebook group as well as over on the podcast. So I'm excited to get to know more mompreneurs. And again, we rise together, right? We're all going to share our knowledge and inspire. The point of the interview process is to inspire, teach, and grow. So that's the goal of my podcast. All right, so I'm so glad you're here. So today you are here for freebie strategy. So let's get into it. A quick little background, right? If you're new here, my name is Christina, and I have been in business for over, different businesses for the last 15 years. So I've been playing with social media, right, since 2010, right? We've all been on social media probably longer than that. But my first little Etsy shop was in 2010, and I quickly realized I built my little craft business on Etsy, and I thought, wow, Etsy is huge, right? I can't just build my perfect profile and people will come, right? It was a very quick learning experience. Fast forward to 2014, my husband and I opened a little bike shop, coffee shop, a little local brick and mortar store, and we loved it. It was so fun. We learned so much. But again, I was hit in the head with that lesson. If you build it, they do not just show up, right? I thought if I had the right decor, the right advertising, the right whatever, the right colors, the right products, the right whatever, right? People would just show up. It didn't work out that way, right? I don't know if any of you have ever realized, if you build it, they don't just come, right? You have to go where your customers are. And so with that, I would always encourage a freebie. So at the bike shop, I loved creating freebies for local stores. So if you are a local business, right, I would love to talk about freebies. But that looked like at the bike shop, I would create a lot of cute coloring pages, right? We realized quickly that our target audience was not the expert bikers that we thought, cyclists that we thought they were, but our perfect audience was really the families, right, in our town. So we realized that we wanted to reach families. So I started creating coloring pages and going to the schools, daycares, whatever that looked like, right? So I would create coloring pages with a little coupon, a coloring contest, right? Come on in, get the kids involved, bring it in for a free cup of coffee. So that was my wheelhouse, right? I would do that over and over and over again. But then this got me into creating new freebies, right? I love getting creative about what freebies you could offer for your business. So again, if a coloring, right, I love adult coloring pages, if that at all speaks to you, right, something to think about, I would love to brainstorm with you some free coloring ideas. That's one of my favorite downloads. But if you are looking for freebies, right, here is my tip number one, is definitely you want to be thinking about something that you yourself would want. So what you are hoping to do with this freebie, right, is have it be a lead magnet. So you want this freebie to be something that you would be willing to give your email for, right? Not something that maybe they could search on the internet, maybe they could ask ChatGPT for, and maybe that's another idea, right? If you're looking for freebie ideas, definitely, right? If you're already in ChatGPT and it knows your business, ask it, what are 10 ideas that I could offer as a freebie, free lead magnet for my business? What you want to be thinking about when you're thinking about freebie ideas is what will lead them or get them in the mindset that I want them to get in, right? So if you're a wellness coach or selling wellness products, you definitely want to think about, right, a freebie in that realm, or maybe a coloring page, right? If you are thinking about your target audience, who is that person and what would she want? She may need a calming adult coloring page, right, for the holidays, for fall, or something like that coming up. So that could be something to think about, right? And of course, it has your information, your website, or whatever you want to send them. If you have a free webinar, if you have a free workshop, if you have a list or a resource or tips, I think my favorite freebie is always like tips, right? A quick list of whatever the tips are that you're willing to give away, right? So that was one of the questions that keeps coming up, is how much to include in a freebie, right? Of course, you don't want to give away all your secret sauce, whatever, but I would argue that most people do not use freebies the way we think that they will, right? Most people will kind of briefly look at the freebie, they may print it out, and they never look at it again, right? If they download it, they may look at it once. We all probably download so many freebies and we lose them and we forget and whatever, right? I know myself, in my system, I see the same people download my freebie several times, right? And I have multiple freebies, right? So I see people download the same freebies a lot. And so that just, right, reiterates the fact that we forget, right? We probably don't value freebies the way we should, because as business owners, of course, we are putting our heart and soul into just about everything that we do, right? So of course a freebie is full of goodies and tips and things that we love and that we want to share and teach and grow, but people are probably not receiving all of those little tidbits. So just keep that in mind, that if you're afraid to give away too much information, you probably are not, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Of course, you're not going to give away, all your secrets. You want to save that for your paying customers, your exclusive customers, right? But I would argue that a freebie, you still want to help. You want it to be of value. Even if your customers may not value it as much as you do, you still want to offer something that would entice them, that would help them move the needle a little bit, right? So this could be a lot of different things. It could be a meditation, maybe, if you want to get your customers into a mindset of calm. If you have a quick questionnaire, right? I love quizzes. Quizzes are a great idea for freebies. And that really gets them in the mindset, right, of what it is that you want to help them recognize is the problem, is a result that they need, is right, what are the things that they are looking to for you for help, right? Looking to you for help. So those are some kind of things to think about, right? Are they resources? If they are struggling, right, if your ideal customer needs more confidence, right, maybe this would look like a quick quiz to figure out how confident they are, right? Many of your customers probably don't know what their problem is, right? I think that is the hardest part of being a coach and an entrepreneur is we know the problem, right? We know what the problem is, but most people probably don't recognize their problems, right? And so they don't know that they need you. They don't know that you can offer that solution. So that's what the freebie you want to think about is getting them in that mindset of, well, how bad of a problem is this, right? Is this a problem? Is this something I struggle? Because the words of you kind of advertising this freebie will resonate with them, right? And that's your goal, is you want your freebie to resonate. So some type of solution that it would offer them, right? So if they are struggling with, maybe they are having trouble sleeping, you may want to give, right, 5 quick tips on how to sleep better, or a morning routine that will help you get started in your day, or 10 self-care ideas, right, to remember, reinvigorate that spark in yourself, or whatever that kind of looks like. So definitely think about a freebie as a little bit of a gateway, right? You want to get them thinking about whatever it is you want them to think about, right? So, and sometimes this can just be fun too, if it's just a quick like, hey, here's my favorite, I don't know, stores, products, something like that. It could be something like that. That's a little bit more fun. But you still want it to be enticing, because the whole idea of a freebie, and I see this so much, right, is people are giving away freebies just left and right without collecting emails. And that is the whole point, right? That is the whole point of creating a freebie, is you are using it as your lead magnet. You are giving it away, yes, for free, but you are getting something in return. You are asking for something in return, right? And you are asking for their contact information. You are asking for their email so that you can follow up later, right, with your other amazing resources and tips and offers, right? That's the whole idea, is you want to build that email list, because, right, love it or hate it, Facebook, right, is, I think, the #1 tool out there, but also because that's where everyone is, right? That's where we all hang out. But whatever tool or platform you are using, if it gets shut down tomorrow, right, I would never want you to put all your eggs in the Facebook basket. I would never want you to put all your eggs in any one basket, any one platform, right? You want to be able to own your audience, right? And so email list, I think, is the best way to do that, because you could take that email list, right? It's a spreadsheet that lives on your computer. It is uploaded to your website, right? And if Facebook shuts down tomorrow, you at least have that list where you could reach out and say, hey, here's my new wherever, right? Whatever that looks like. So definitely think about, you want to capture their data. That's really the goal. I always say this with your social media profiles, you are not collecting any information, right? Even though they are following you, you do not necessarily have any information. If you are all over on Instagram and you have 1 million followers, right? Great, cahoots to you. That's amazing. But if Instagram shuts down, right, you do not have anything, right? So just keep that in mind, that your followers, I would not say, are your leads. So just be really careful about if you think that you have this great following and your goal every day is just to build a following. I would always argue that you need more leads. You do not need more followers, right? And a lead is someone who takes action. So they are more than a follower. They are someone who has shown interest, has dropped their email, has joined your Facebook group, right? That is someone who has taken a little bit more of an action, maybe gone to your website, but I think that's far more intimate, going to someone's website, than going to their Facebook group, right? Maybe that's just me, but I think your followers are not your leads until they take action. So keep that in mind. That is what the freebie is meant to do, right? Is to be used as your lead magnet. And my favorite, right, sales funnel is the Facebook group. You hear me say this all the time, that the Facebook group is the perfect sales funnel, because you get to ask those 3 entry questions, and that second question should be your freebie. Drop your email if you want my hot tips on how to sleep better at night, right? Drop your email if you could use my 7 new resources on how to speak more confidently online, right? Or something like that. Drop your email if you want my, new artistic coloring page that will help you calm yourself through the holidays. Whatever that looks like, right? So definitely think about what you want your audience to get in the mindset of, and then offer that freebie. And make sure that in your entry questions, if you do have a Facebook group, make sure that I always say that second question should be about their email. Drop your email for this if you're interested in this freebie. I also say it can be something generic, right? If you're doing a newsletter, maybe that's all you have to do for your freebie. If you have this really hot newsletter where you're sharing every week, maybe you have a new set of tips or resources, or a new little tidbit, or a new inspirational story, or a new article, or something like that, right? I mean, that could be your freebie in and of itself. So maybe your offer is just, hey, would you like to get on my amazingly packed info newsletter that has new tips and resources every week, or something like that, right? Of course, ask ChatGPT, make it cuter, make it sound better, but something along those lines, right? So that is obviously tip number one: create something that you would want, that you yourself would want, and that someone would be willing to give their email for. That's the whole idea, right? Is you want it to be valuable enough that someone is willing to offer, willing to give you their email. So, and we do this all day long, right? If you're looking for ideas, also Pinterest is a really great place to check for ideas. Pinterest is full of printables, lists, free, lots of free things, right? So I love these. I love to get creative about freebies. If you're at all struggling to figure out a freebie, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I think, videos, it could be a webinar, like I said, it could be a printable. I think the easiest thing to use is like a PDF, something cute that you create in Canva. So definitely great places to look or brainstorm for freebies are Pinterest. Type in, mindset coach, life coach, freebie, something like that. See what other people are offering, and that may spark some ideas. Also, Canva is another great place to look for freebies. Canva has so many amazing templates, right? So check in their templates, and you could say free worksheet for mindset coach, or free worksheet for wellness, and just see what pops up, right? And then of course you can edit it and make it cute and change stuff up and decide. But those are some great ways to kind of brainstorm some new freebies if that's kind of what you're struggling with. And again, I would argue, don't worry about giving away too much, because most people are not going to use this freebie and then, get the end result. Most people, if you are in the coaching business, right, most people are going to need a little bit more of you. That's the whole idea, right? They need you to help them through this process. A free download is not going to give them, the long-lasting results that they think it might, right? But most people are going to need you to help them through that process. So quick tips, you don't want to obviously give them a novel, but also that's another idea, right? Many people use a free ebook, right? And that could be something that if it's something you're willing to give away. So maybe that's just a quick recipe book. That could be something really fun. Maybe it's like a whole ebook that maybe is like your story, or something like that, right? That is stories of people that you've interviewed in the past, or anyway, any of those ideas, right? There's lots of, you could ask ChatGPT, what are some ebook ideas for my business that I could give away for free? Those are great ideas, because people feel like they're getting a lot, right? If you offer a free recipe book, right? Who wouldn't want that? So those are some great ideas to kind of think about there. But so that's my tip number one, right? Is think about something that you yourself would want and be willing to give your email for. And there are lots of different ways to kind of brainstorm some new ideas, and don't be too worried about giving too much information away. Of course, you don't want to give away your secret framework or guidelines, or whatever you've kind of come up with that is your paid program. You don't need to give away all the steps in between, but you can give away like maybe the first step, or the first few steps that would get them to a place of, because you want to get them in the mindset of being able to then, lead them to your next offer. That's really the goal. You want to think about that customer journey and what they're going to need next after that. So tip number one, something of value. And then tip number two, right, we kind of already said this, is get the emails. Get the emails. Get the emails. I see this so much. People are throwing out freebies and not collecting emails. I think the challenge is the tech side, right? And I get it. If you are tech challenged, right, tell me below. I think it is so easy for us as entrepreneurs, especially, right, I don't know about you guys, as I get older, all of a sudden, I don't know what it is. I think it's all the tech creators are getting younger, of course, and so they're in a different mindset than me, and so user operation and user-friendly is more geared towards different generations. So as I get older, somehow now, I'm not as techie as I thought I was. But I know you're resourceful, right? You are a go-getter coach. And so I know you can figure things out, right? You have already figured out so much in your business. So if you have a tech question, feel free to type it below, or you can always send me a tech question if you're struggling with something. Because what I hate is entrepreneurs who are given tech advice that is something they have to buy, right? I get it. There are some things that we have to buy and pay for, but more often than not, if you have an amazing website, if you have, you're able to use social media, you have all the tools you need to create a freebie and create a sign up. You do not need a third-party edition, something that you have to pay for. Every website has the capability of some type of sign up form and a way to collect emails. So it may just be hidden, right? You may have to do a little digging. There may be a few buttons hidden somewhere, but more likely than not is your website, the system you already have, can create a freebie or landing page or form that people can sign up for. So definitely if you're struggling with this, right? And then that form can lead to your freebie. So if you're struggling with the tech side of things, right, I understand, because it can be overwhelming. Whatever website host you're using or whatever CRM you're using, right, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So if you have a tech question, feel free to drop it below or send it to me. I would love to help you out, because I do not think we need more third parties, right? We do not need more apps that do a bunch of different things that we pay, $20 a month over here for, $20 a month over here for, when your website can do it. Your website can do it. If you don't have a website, right, we can talk about that. There are definitely still free landing pages like Linktree or some of those others, right? We can look at whatever system you have going on. But before you pay someone to do a bunch of coding or set up a third-party system for you, you do not, unless you're making a bunch of money, right? And you can throw money at stuff and you don't even want to handle any of the tech. But here's the thing, I have run into so many clients who they paid someone to make a beautiful website and they don't even know how to use it, right? If they want to change their pricing, if they see a quick grammar error, or if they just want to do a quick little edit, they have to wait until their tech person can log in and do it, right? And to me, that is not giving you the power, right? That is giving someone else the power of your marketing. And I would never encourage you to outsource any piece of your business until you have a system that is working for you. So if you've created a lead magnet, but you don't know how to get it working in your system, let's talk, because I would never want you to outsource someone else that controls your lead generation, right? You need to be in control of your customers and your business. So if you don't know how to edit your website, or you don't know how to set up a freebie page, or you don't know how to set up a form that collects emails, definitely let's talk, because you probably already have the tools. You might just need a little bit of digging. And I'm happy to help you do that, because I would hate for you to pay a third party just to set up something so simple that you can do yourself, right? I know, and it doesn't have to be a headache. It doesn't have to be super hard, right? There are so many different little things, and more than likely you set it up once and then you forget it, right? And it's okay. So anyway, so that's my little soapbox, because I hate seeing entrepreneurs getting taken advantage by all these third-party apps. I get it, right? Bros in Silicon Valley are making huge money, and they are taking advantage of, I think, Facebook marketing and all of these things, right? By telling you, hey, try Kajabi, you should try this, you need a whole system, right, that you have to pay for. But I would never want you to outsource a whole system without having an audience first, right? I would hate for you to build a website. Like I said, the biggest lesson I have learned over the last 15 years is if you build it, they do not come, right? So even if you build a beautiful funnel, even if you build a beautiful website, even if you build a beautiful, oh, I hear this all the time, oh, I'm having someone build a funnel for me. That is amazing, but how are you going to get people in that funnel? And then what happens when that person goes away? Are you going to pay them forever to be a part of your team or a part of your system? Because that sounds like a disaster, right? That if something breaks in the funnel, if you change your freebie, if something isn't working, then how can you outsource something that you don't know it's working yet? You need to control your system for getting leads and getting paid customers. So if you don't have a good system for getting leads every single day, then I would not want you to outsource your marketing. No one is going to sell your business like you. No one is you, right? So, okay, that's it. So number 2 is definitely get the emails. And if you're struggling with tech, let's talk. I can put you in touch with the right people if you really need an outsourced person, but more likely you and I can figure it out, because tech it can be overwhelming, but more likely you have all the tools you need. And I would hate for you to have to pay someone to figure that out for you, and then you are at their mercy, right? If you need to edit it, if something breaks, you are beholden to them. And I would hate for you to, I want you to have the power in your business. That's really important to me. So get the emails, get the emails. All right, number 3, and this is always the hardest part, right? If someone has dropped their email, send them emails, right? I know this is really hard. I see this a lot. Again, we are collecting emails and then we don't know what to do with them. The whole point of collecting emails is to follow up. Send them emails, right? If someone has given you their email, send them emails. Whatever that looks like, whatever you can do to build a habit, right? I am all about building habits that you can be consistent with. So build if it's a weekly newsletter, if all you can do right now is monthly, send out a monthly newsletter that just lets them know you're still here and you have stuff going on, right? You have a latest blog, you have a new product, you have a new live on your Facebook group, you have a Facebook group, right? You have a new whatever. Definitely send out at least once a month a newsletter. If you are collecting emails, send them emails, right? That's the whole idea. The whole idea of an email, collecting emails, is that you can nurture them and warm them up. This is great for ChatGPT, right? If you are not sure how to use these emails, ask ChatGPT. What should I put in my newsletter to nurture, to warm people up to this, blah, 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 new offer, program, yada, yada. What should I include in my newsletter to get people thinking about blah, 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 right? All of these things. These are great questions to ask ChatGPT. If you are collecting emails, send emails. All right. So those are my 3 tips that I see are the biggest challenge for a freebie strategy. Definitely number 1 is create something that you yourself would want and you would be willing to give your email for. Number 2, collect the emails. So once you've created a freebie, make sure you have a system that is really easy. That's the whole idea. It doesn't have to be complicated. It might be complicated at the beginning to figure it out, but once you have a system, you most likely don't have to touch it. You need to have a link that you can send people to sign up for your whatever, to get the freebie. And if that's the hard part too, is if you need like an automated system that once you drop their email into your website, right, then what happens? So some of that stuff can get a little bit confusing, but I'm happy to dig in there with you if you are struggling with any of that and help you figure it out, because I think it's important for you to be the resource and for you to be, as you're a one-woman show, right, most of us are, you need to be a little bit of the tech department. I get it, bigger things you can outsource, but a little bit of the tech department, you need to be able to do some of that day-to-day stuff. You need a way to collect emails and send out emails. That's pretty basic, I think. So definitely think about that. So yeah, that second piece is get the emails. Make sure if you have a freebie, make sure you are collecting emails for it. And this is where your Facebook group is a really great place for market research. If you have a Facebook group, ask them, hey, I'm thinking about these 3 freebies. What would you like, right? Ask them. What would be a great freebie that would help you, get into the next best chapter of your life? What's a freebie that would really light you up this winter, right? What are, ask them. Ask your customers. Ask your target audience. What is something that would be helpful to you, and give them some options, right? They'll tell you what they want, and then set that freebie up, right? So before you even create a freebie, ask your beautiful little petri dish Facebook group what freebie would be helpful to them. I think that's such a beautiful piece of the Facebook group. Once you have your, right, if you treat it like your sales funnel, you are getting qualified people into your group every single day, and then it's your perfect little market research group. They are your target audience. Ask them questions. So you've created your freebie, and then you've collected their emails, and then send them emails, right? Do the follow-up. It's so hard, and I myself am guilty, right? I don't follow up enough. I know this. But if they have said yes to something, if they have dropped their email, they are interested in something. Follow up with them, warm them up, nurture them. That is all about what business is, right? It is all about getting qualified leads and then nurturing them into paying customers. That is the basics, right? So definitely if you have their emails, send them emails. And if you're not sure what to send, right, ask ChatGPT. If you need more help with that, definitely feel free to reach out to me. I would love to help. So those are the 3 tips, right, for freebie strategy. Create a freebie, get the emails, and then send emails. That's pretty much it. So definitely, if you are struggling with anything along those lines in those pieces, feel free to reach out to me. I love helping you get all of these pieces working together. So if you have your Facebook group and you feel like it might be dead or people are not engaging, definitely let's talk. I'm really excited about tomorrow is my first workshop where we are talking all about asking better questions. So if you have a Facebook group that people are not engaging in, it is more about asking better questions to get that engagement in your group. I think every group can be reinvigorated. Even if you've had a group that you feel like is dead for years, there are ways and tips and tricks that we're going to talk about in my workshop, how to get that reinvigorated and get people talking again in your group. Because once you have a group that is engaging, and you have new people coming in every day, Facebook sees that as a hot group. And then Facebook is going to do the work for you, or more work for you, right? Facebook is going to show your group to your target audience. So you've got to tell Facebook, give Facebook the data, right? Facebook has all the data, give it the data. Let them know, hey, this is a hot group. I'm sharing great resources in here that my audience already loves because they're engaging and commenting with it. And I'm getting new people that are interested in this group every day. Facebook is like, hey, I got you. I'm out here. I'm going to show it to more people. So get Facebook working for you. That's another key, right? So if you're interested in that workshop, I would love to send you the link. It's tomorrow at 12 p.m. where we are going to be workshopping your actual questions. So it's going to be great. We're going to be hot seat coaching. So I'm only letting in a few people so that we can work one-on-one. It's in the group setting, but we're going to go through each person who comes to the workshop and get you your questions so that you have content for your group. And the goal is to get a week's worth of content that you can repeat, right? Every week. Ask the same questions, maybe a few sprinkled in here. So that is the goal of the workshop. So if that's something you're wanting to reinvigorate your group, definitely come to the workshop. Just say workshop below and I'll definitely send you the link. If you're struggling with any piece of your marketing, right, I would love to help. I always offer a free social media audit. If we haven't met before, I would love to set up a call with you. Feel free to just say strategy below. I love looking at your overall marketing presence and getting all the pieces working. So again, if you have an email list set up but you don't know what to do with, if you have your Instagram over here and maybe a Facebook over here, but not all the pieces are working together so that you're getting qualified leads every single day, then definitely let's talk. Just say strategy below and I'll definitely reach out to you with that free social media audit. I always say if you are stuck in your business, it is far scarier to stay stuck, in my opinion. It is far scarier to stay in a place without hope, right? If you don't have a plan to move your business forward, to me that is far scarier than taking that leap of faith, right? I get it. Stepping out of your comfort zone is scary, but you are not going to grow if you stay in your comfort zone, right? If you are in a place where you feel stuck and you are stuck in a posting and hoping strategy, right? A posting and hoping strategy, if it is not working, doing more of that thing is not going to continue to work or is not going to magically work, right? All of a sudden. So if you don't feel like you're getting the leads that you want every single day, let's talk, because it is not doing more of what's not working, right? That is not what is going to move your business forward. So let's talk. If you need some new ideas and you need to get out of your comfort zone, I would love to chat with you. I always like to say too that coaching, right? I offer one-on-one coaching, and coaching is all about that accountability. I know you are resourceful. Like I said, you're here, you're downloading new free content all the time, right? Trying to learn. And the point of coaching is if you feel like you have downloaded all the free information and it's still not working, right? That means there is a piece that is either how to implement all of this free information, or there's just some little tweak that you hadn't thought of. We can be so deep in the weeds in our own business that it's really hard to see the bigger picture, right? See the piece that we're missing. Oh, I hadn't thought of that before, right? And that's where one-on-one coaching really comes in, where someone can really look at your big picture as well as some of the details that you get stuck in every day and be able to say, oh, let's just tweak this a little bit. There may be, you probably have all the pieces, but again, it's just about getting them all working together and maybe small tweaks here and there to move your business forward. So that's really where I think coaching, learn from the people that have gone before you, right? Don't waste years like I did using strategies that don't work, right? I would hate for you to be stuck in a posting and hoping, just waiting to go viral. Oh, it's a long game, right? I hear that all the time. It's a long game. I get it. Marketing is a long game, right? We're in the business for a long haul, but it shouldn't be so dead that you are seeing zero results. If you are seeing zero results every day, that is so discouraging, and I don't know how you're going to stay motivated for the long term, right? That's really where coaching can come in, is to move your business forward and get you motivated, get you results so that you are encouraged to keep doing the system. So coaching offers, right, accountability, that motivation, and then I always say too, sales, right? I think women, it's really hard to be a women business owner because we are taught so often in our young life that it's better to be polite, right? It's better to be polite than to be direct. To me, that comes in a lot of different forms, and I know it does for you guys too, right? That sometimes that looks like, okay, I get it. None of us want to be salesy. Nobody wants to be pushy, but we are all in business, right? There's a soft place, an aligned place that can feel really good about being direct about your business because you're passionate about it without being pushy and salesy, right? I know you want to help people, and so those are some ways that we can work through some of those sales skills, because I think every woman is an amazing saleswoman. I just think we need the proper skills and strategy, and we just aren't taught that, right? Certainly not like the men are, right? I feel like it's more okay for the men to be taught sales skills, and it's more okay for men to be a little bit more pushy, I think, quite honestly. So there's an aligned place, and that's what I love teaching in my coaching program, is a little bit of those sales skills and sales strategy that we are not taught. And I know that you are capable of being that beautiful saleswoman that you can be, because you have this business, and many of us say, oh, I'm a business owner, but I hate being salesy, right? Oh, I'm just not good at marketing. I'm not good at sales. And I think that is the wrong mindset. I think you are great at sales. You are empathetic, right? Women have a really powerful empathy chain that we are able to reach our customers in a way that I don't think anyone else can, right? So I really think you can be good at sales, and we can work through it together. So that's my goal. If you are at all interested in learning new sales skills or learning new strategy, just say strategy below. I'd love to reach out to you. That is it for today. I think I have said everything that I wanted to say. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to reach out. I love working through freebies. I love creating freebies. So if that is something you're struggling with and you need some more brainstorming ideas, definitely feel free to reach out. And tell me below, what are your 2 action items that you are going to do to move your business forward today? What 2 things jumped out at you today that you were like, oh, I hadn't thought of that before, or that's new information, or that's different, or a different mindset? I would love to hear below what jumped out at you. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the